Very good afternoon to one and all. I welcome you all for the next lecture of heat transfer. Whether my voice is audible and can you see my presentation? Please let me know in the chat box. Great. So today we are going to start our new concept that is nothing but unsteady state conduction or transient heat conduction. Okay, write down the name of topic: unsteady state conduction or transient heat conduction. So if you have written the syllabus, you come to know that we have covered the first 2 points, or just we have covered uh, first two parts of our subject of our syllabus of first chapter, and this is the last one, that is nothing but unsteady state conduction or a transient heat conduction. Okay. So you may be under confusion that when our first chapter will over. Okay, so still 2 to 3 extra lectures we required to complete this particular chapter, and then we will move ahead for the next chapter. Okay, so this much time is required to understand the concept of heat transfer, or if you want to deep dive in the subject with the basic knowledge, then we have to give more time for uh, uh, the first chapter only. Okay, and further also there are some big chapters are there. Okay, radiation is there, convection is there. So but the time required for those chapters is lesser as compared to the first chapter. Okay, so then second chapter it will be over in 5 to 6 lecture. If we get 2 hours lecture, then it will be over in 5 to 6 lectures. And the heat transfer chapter will require near about 10 to 15 lectures. Okay. So after completion of this chapter, you'll think that the syllabus coverage, but don't worry, I'm here. Okay, I'm teaching this subject fourth time, so I know how much time is required to deliver the content, and how much students are eager to finish the syllabus. So have a patience, learn the things, and grow up your personality, your attitude. Okay, so up till now we are dealing with the steady state conduction only. Okay, that is nothing but the temperature term is constant with respect to time. Okay, so steady state means what? Temperature of a body does not change with respect to time. That is nothing but a steady state condition of that particular body. Okay, but if you consider that if any body we are heating up, okay, and we want to achieve a steady state for that particular body. Okay, steady state condition for that particular body. Okay, or if you say that any body want to maintain a steady state, but the time between or some time is required to achieve that particular steady state. Okay, to achieve that steady state condition some time is required. Okay, so let us say I'm started heating one product or one component, and uh, it will achieve a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius after 10 minutes. Okay, it will achieve the 100 degrees Celsius temperature at 10 minutes, and then further the temperature of that particular product for particular heating. okay, for particular heating temperature will not change further, okay, and it will attain the equilibrium with the environment or surrounding medium, or whatever the system around that particular product is there. So it will attain the equilibrium with the surrounding, and it will maintain the temperature for the further heating. That is nothing but 100 degrees Celsius temperature, if you are going to consider that, okay. But uh, starting the heating and reaching to the 100 degrees Celsius temperature, so the time is required to achieve that particular 100 degrees Celsius. So in between this, if you say 0 to 100 degrees Celsius, whatever the time is required, so that between that particular time period, the system is under unsteady condition. Means what? Unsteady condition means what? Unsteady means temperature is changing continuously with respect to time. Temperature is changing continuously with respect to time. That is nothing but what? Unsteady state. Okay. So the term unsteady state, or it is another nomenclature, unsteady state condition or unsteady state conduction, having another nomenclature, that is nothing but transient heat conduction. Okay. Transient heat conduction. Okay. So this particular phenomenon of unsteady state heat conduction or a transient heat conduction is time dependent phenomenon. Okay. Is a time dependent phenomenon. Time dependent means what? Temperature is a function of a time. As the time changes, the temperature will get changed. Okay. Up till now, we have not considered this in the problem, because we are uh, uh, considering that temperature will not change with respect to time. But now, in this particular condition, this particular phenomenon, transient heat condition conduction phenomenon, is a time dependent phenomenon. Okay. So that we can say that it will be limited by the steady state condition. Okay. It will be limited by the steady state condition. Limited means what? When once we achieve the steady state condition, transient heat conduction will be vanished one, or that particular phenomenon will not be considered for the further heat transfer. Okay. So but up till now, up till we will not achieve the steady state condition, that particular up to that particular condition, the body is under unsteady state conduction, or unsteady state heat conduction. Okay. So we have to deal with this such a problems in this particular point, that is nothing but unsteady conduction. Okay. So what are the different examples are there for the transient conduction? If you say that the cooling of IC engine, internal combustion engine, if you take the example of your automobile vehicles, then the cooling of that particular engine, the engine temperature is continuously changing one. Okay. Okay. And the real examples, whatever the real examples where heat is transferring, these all the real examples are under the unsteady heat conduction only. Okay. Unsteady heat transfer only. Okay. So then if you put any product in the refrigerator, the heat will be transferred from the product to the refrigerator evaporator by unsteady heat conduction only, or unsteady heat transfer only. Okay. So from the body to the body surface, if you consider the heat transfer is conduction, and from body surface to the external environment, heat transfer is the convection mode of heat transfer. So we can say that these are the some of the examples. Then you have learned the metallurgy subject, then heat treatment is one of the concept in metallurgy subject, in that quenching, hardening is there. So we are immersing or dipping the hot metal inside the cold fluid to achieve sufficient amount of hardness for that particular product. That is nothing but what? Quenching. So this is the instantaneous heat transfer phenomenon. Okay, this is the instantaneous heat transfer phenomenon, where the temperature is rapidly changing with respect to time. Where the temperature is rapidly changing with respect to time. So in such a problems where temperature is a function of a time, where temperature is changing with respect to time, so in that case, we have to implement the unsteady state conduction phenomena, or unsteady transient phenomena. We can say that we have to implement the transient phenomena. Okay. So you can take the example cooling of IC engine, automobile engine, cooling and freezing of foods, heat treatment of a metals and by quenching method, or hardening of any metal by dipping that particular metal in a fluid, or by immersing that particular metal in a fluid, we are transferring, or that particular metal is immediately transfer the heat to the external fluid, and in that case we have to implement the unsteady state conduction for or unsteady state heat transfer phenomenon to determine the heat transfer in such a problems. Okay, and this is the most we can say that uh, a realistic phenomenon, that is nothing but transient phenomena. Okay, and by implementing assumption, we are reducing uh, the time required for the calculation. Okay, by applying some assumption, that is nothing but there is no heat generation is one kind of assumption, there is a transient or there is no temperature change with respect to time. So these are the assumptions. By implementing that particular assumption, we are reducing our calculation, or we are reducing the complications in the problem. Okay, but the reality is that to achieve the steady state condition, we have to transfer through transient condition. Okay, we have to transfer through transient condition. So temperature field. Oh, okay. Up till now, we are considering that the temperature is the variable with respect to coordinate system only. That is nothing but x, y, z. These are the coordinate systems, and uh, in steady state condition, we have to consider that the temperature varies with respect to x, y, z coordinates only, or whatever the coordinate system we are using, with respect to that only the temperature is varying. But in a transient phenomenon problems, we have to consider that temperature is a function of coordinate system also and the time also. Okay, the temperature is function of coordinate system also and the time also. So we can write the equation for temperature as T is equal to function of x, y, z and T. Okay, so T, capital T, I have given the nomenclature for the temperature, and small t I have given the nomenclature for the time. Okay, remember this particular point. So T is a function of x, y, z and also T. Okay, in case of a transient phenomenon. Transient means what? Unsteady state phenomenon. Okay, now in that also, in transient case, we have to consider the two concept. Okay, one is nothing but lumped parameter analysis, and another one is a unlumped parameter analysis. Okay, but in our syllabus we have to consider only lumped parameter analysis, but need to understand what is the difference between lumped parameter analysis and unlumped parameter analysis. Okay, so for that reason, consider any fruit. Okay, this is example only, I am giving the example. Consider any fruit. So I have considered one watermelon, uh, because it is available easily nowadays in a market. So consider that watermelon. You can do the experimentation, same experiment at your home if the thermometer is available, no issue. So consider one example, and in that particular example you have to consider one fruit. I have considered the watermelon. Okay, so good looking watermelon and circular, having the circular shape, I have considered. Okay, so any shape you are getting, take that watermelon, no issue. Keep that particular watermelon in a refrigerator. Okay, keep that particular watermelon in a refrigerator for half an hour. Okay, for half an hour, and after half hour you take out that particular watermelon out of the refrigerator, cut in a middle section. Okay, take a cut in a middle section. Okay, and try to measure the temperature at various points. Okay, try to measure the temperature at various points. If you measure the temperature at the surface of that particular watermelon, will get the temperature of surface of watermelon, or near to that particular surface of watermelon, you will get the lesser temperature as compared to the temperature at the center. Okay, as compared to temperature at the center. So why it is happening? Why it is happening? Because there is less resistance for the heat to escape the watermelon at the surface. Okay, there is a less resistance for the heat to escape the watermelon from the surface of that particular watermelon. Okay, but whatever the heat is present at the center, okay, or at the inner part of that particular watermelon, faces maximum amount of a resistance to escape from this particular watermelon, so that we will get the maximum temperature at the surface and we'll get the less temperature at the middle of that particular watermelon. Okay, so this is nothing but what the watermelon release or transfer the heat ununiformly, okay, or non-uniformly. Okay, the watermelon transfer the heat non-uniformly because of the thermal resistance, so that particular heat which is present at the center of watermelon need to travel to the surface of watermelon, and then it will be escaped from the surface. Okay, then it will be escaped from the surface, but this much thickness need to travel, okay, from the center to whatever the radius is there, that much thickness, that particular heat need to travel to reach the surface, and because of that the temperature on the surface will be lesser as compared to the temperature at the center of that particular watermelon. And what is the conclusion? The watermelon will transfer the heat ununiformly or non-uniformly to the surrounding. Okay, and if you consider any if you consider the pot, okay, let us consider that you have taken one pot and which is filled by water, and you have kept that particular pot in a refrigerator for half an hour, and after half an hour if you take out that particular pot outside and if you measure the temperature of that water at different location, what you will get? Okay, what you will get? You will get the similar temperature at different location. You will get the similar temperature at different location. That means what? The water transfer the heat uniformly to the surrounding, or the heat transfer in case of water is uniform one. Okay, so some metals, okay, or we can say that some materials transfer the heat uniformly to the surrounding. Some materials transfer heat non-uniformly to the surrounding, or surrounding medium or the surrounding environment. Okay, so that I want to suggest that what is meant by uniform heat transfer and what is meant by non-uniform heat transfer. Okay, so that particular two examples. One is I have given related to the watermelon, and one is related to the pot filled with water. Okay, or pot filled with any liquid. Okay, now further we have to think about this particular uniform heat transfer and non-uniform heat transfer. So uniform heat transfer is also under the transient case. Okay, so here also you have considered one example that if you keep the food or any material inside the refrigerator, then that particular material will transfer the heat to the surrounding non-uniformly, or we can say that it will transfer the heat with transient condition, So in that particular transient condition, there are two heat transfer. That is nothing but one is non-uniform heat transfer and second one is uniform heat transfer. Okay, so we have to focus on uniform heat transfer only. And lumped parameter analysis is dealing with the uniform heat transfer only. Lumped parameter analysis is dealing with the lumped parameter analysis only. Okay, getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt up till now? What is meant by steady state? What is meant by unsteady state? What is meant by uniform? What is meant by non-uniform heat transfer? Is there any doubt, any question? Okay, what is meant by transient heat conduction? Everybody understood that? Okay, so there are two parts in unsteady state heat transfer. First one is nothing but a lumped heat transfer, and second one is nothing but unlumped heat transfer. Okay, so we are dealing with the lumped heat transfer only. Okay, we will deal with the lumped heat transfer only. Now for that purpose you have to consider one plate. Okay, consider one plate. Okay, so very thin plate you have to consider copper plate or silver plate or gold plate, okay, or diamond plate. Okay, consider any kind of a plate or slab. Diamond, if you are considering, you will say that the slab of diamond you have considered. Why I'm considering this? Because the thermal conductivity of copper, gold, silver, aluminum is very high as compared to the other materials. So the thermal conductivity of that particular plate is very high. Okay, more than 200, more than 300. You have to consider that. Okay, and the thickness of this particular plate is very small. Okay, and it is equal to L meter. Okay, it is equal to L meter. Now, surface area of that particular plate is A. Okay, or A suffix X, A suffix S. Okay, surface area A suffix S. You have to consider A suffix S is the surface area of that particular plate. Okay, and one side temperature is T1 and another surface is exposed to the external environment, and that particular side temperature is T2 and external environment having temperature of T suffix A. Okay, now the another side of that particular plate is transferring the heat to the external environment. Okay, another side of that particular plate is transferring the heat to the external environment. So that particular heat transfer we have to consider as a convection mode of a heat transfer. We have to consider as a convection mode of heat transfer. So in that case, we required the heat transfer coefficient to calculate the convection heat transfer. Okay, so we have to consider that H naught is the coefficient of convective heat transfer. H naught is the coefficient of convective heat transfer. So now in this particular two modes of heat transfer, initially the heat is transferred within the thickness of that particular plate. Okay, and that heat transfer will be considered as conduction mode of heat transfer, and further the heat will transfer from the surface of that plate to the external environment, and that heat transfer we have to consider as a convection mode of heat transfer. Okay, so for these two heat transfer modes, we will get the two resistance. We will get the two resistance. So we have to consider that the conduction mode heat transfer within the material as a internal heat transfer, and the resistance we are getting to transfer the heat within the thickness of that particular plate will be considered as a internal resistance. Okay, and the heat transfer from the surface to the surrounding will be considered as a external heat transfer or convective heat transfer, and resistance we are getting for that particular heat transfer will be considered as convective resistance. It is also nomenclature as the surface resistance. It is also nomenclatured as a surface resistance or external resistance. Okay, we are getting the two resistance in this case. One is conductive resistance and second one is a convective resistance. So conductive resistance value will be L divided by K multiplied by A. Okay, L divided by K multiplied by A is nothing but a conductive resistance, and the convective resistance is 1 upon H naught multiplied by A. Okay, one whole divided by H naught multiplied by A. So that is nothing but the convective resistance. Okay, so these two resistance we are getting for the heat transfer from the plate to the surrounding, Okay, first heat will be transferred within the thickness of that particular plate, and then heat will be transferred from the surface of the plate to the surrounding. So direction of heat transfer is shown over here. Okay, now what will happen as we have considered that the thickness of plate is very small, and the thermal conductivity of that particular plate is larger. Okay, or which is having the value more than 200, 300, such a thermal conductivity of the plate we have considered, or the plate is metal one. Okay, which is having higher thermal conductivity, such a plate we have considered over here. Okay, so if you calculate the thermal resistance offered for the conduction, that is nothing but L divided by K multiplied by A. Okay, so L is very small, thermal conductivity is very large, and area of that particular plate is very large. Okay, so thin plate, so as compared to thickness, area is larger one. So the resistance, internal resistance or conductive resistance, we will get very small. Okay, conductive resistance we will get very small, and if you calculate the convective resistance, that is nothing but 1 divided by H naught multiplied by A. So this resistance is very high or very large as compared to the conductive resistance or internal resistance. Surface resistance is very large as compared to the internal resistance. So in that case, we are considering, if you are considering the transient heat conduction phenomenon, so in such a case we have to uh, neglect the internal resistance. We have to neglect the internal resistance. Internal means what? Conductive resistance, which is offered by the plate to transfer the heat within that plate, within that particular plate. Okay, so we have to neglect that particular resistance, and we have to perform the analysis, or we have to perform the calculation part. Okay, we have to perform the calculation part. So in such a case, whatever the analysis are done, okay, whatever the analysis are done, that particular analysis is called as a lumped parameter analysis. It's called as a lumped parameter analysis. Getting everyone? What concepts we have taken over here? First one is nothing but uniform heat conduction or uniform heat transfer. Second one is nothing but what? The thickness of that particular plate is very small, okay, as compared to its area, or as compared to, or in another language, you can say that the area of that particular plate is larger uh, than its volume. Okay, volume means what? Surface area multiplied by thickness. Okay, so volume will be lesser as compared to its surface area. Okay, so in that case, we will get the value of uh, internal thermal resistance is value of that particular internal thermal resistance is very less as compared to value of external thermal resistance. So we can neglect the internal thermal resistance, and we will perform the analysis of that particular heat transfer. Such an analysis will be considered as lumped parameter analysis. Such an analysis will be considered as lumped parameter analysis. Getting everyone? So here I have given in a sentence format that consider the plate whose thickness is L and surface area is A and very high thermal conductivity K. Okay. So in that case, conductive resistance we will get, in this particular plate case, we will get the conductive resistance as L divided by K multiplied by A. Okay. And convective resistance as 1 divided by H naught multiplied by A. Okay. So thickness is very small, area is larger one, okay, and thermal conductivity is larger one. So this value L divided by K multiplied by A is very less as compared to the convective resistance, that is nothing but 1 divided by H naught multiplied by A. Okay, so we can neglect the internal resistance. Internal resistance means what? The conductive resistance. Conductive resistance means what? L divided by K multiplied by A for the plate. Okay, so all the solids have finite thermal conductivity, and there will be always a temperature gradient inside the solid whenever the heat is added or removed. Okay, so temperature gradient means what? Dt divided by dx. Okay, if you add the heat to any object, okay, so we'll know that the heat will be diffused in that particular object, and there will be a temperature gradient, that is nothing but variation of a temperature with respect to the dimension. However, for solid of a large K, means large thermal conductivity with surface areas that are large in proportion to their volume, like plates and thin metallic wires, the internal resistance L divided by K multiplied by A can be assumed to be small or negligible in comparison with the convective resistance. Example, heat treatment of a metals. Okay, so this is one kind of example, and second one is time response of a thermocouples and thermometers. Okay, time response of a thermocouples and thermometer. The process in which the internal resistance assumed negligible in comparison with its surface resistance is called as Newtonian heating or cooling process. Okay, so where we are considering the internal resistance negligible, then that particular heating or cooling process will be considered as Newtonian heating or Newtonian cooling process. Okay, the temperature in this process is considered to be uniform at a given time. Okay, temperature of this in this particular process we have to consider as a uniform temperature at a given time. Okay, uniform and non-uniform I have explained very well. Okay, so this analysis is called lumped parameter analysis, because the whole solid whose energy at any time is a function of its temperature and total heat capacity is treated as one lump. Okay, so what it means? Okay, so whatever the assumptions we have considered, okay, so according to these assumptions, whatever these assumptions are there, these assumptions are lead for the lumped parameter analysis. Okay, which lead for the lumped parameter analysis. And in this particular analysis, the whole solid temperature or whole solid energy, okay, is a function of its temperature. That is nothing but what? If the temperature changes, the internal energy or the energy of that particular material will get changed, or that particular body will get changed. And the heat capacity, whatever the heat capacity CPCV we are considering, heat capacity is treated as one lump. Okay, the heat capacity of that material or that particular object will be considered as one lump. Okay, getting everyone what is meant by lumped parameter analysis, what is meant by steady state, unsteady state, uniform heat transfer, non-uniform heat transfer. Okay, Newtonian fluid. Okay, Newtonian heating and cooling process. So these are the concept we need to understand. Okay, then uh, whether everybody getting what is meant by lumped parameter analysis? Is there any question, any doubt? Is there any question, any doubt? Okay, write down the heading. Write down the heading. Unsteady state conduction, unsteady state conduction, or transient heat conduction. Unsteady state conduction or transient heat conduction. Unsteady state conduction or transient heat conduction. Unsteady state conduction or transient heat conduction. In that, write down, if the temperature of body, if the temperature of body, I suggest everyone, for more visibility, you can rotate your screen. Okay, and you can use the zoom feature also. Okay, so if the temperature of body, write down, if the temperature of body does not vary, does not vary with time, if the temperature of body does not vary with time, it is said to be in a steady state. It is said to be in a steady state. It is said to be in a steady state. Full stop. It is said to be in a steady state. Full stop. But body attains, but body attains, but body attains, but body attains an equilibrium temperature, an equilibrium temperature, but body attains an equilibrium temperature or steady state, or steady state, or steady state after some time, after some time, or steady state after some time, or steady state after some time, comma, or after some period, comma, or after some period, or after some period, full stop. During this period, 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 the temperature varies, the temperature varies, the temperature varies with time. During this period, the temperature varies with time. During this period, the temperature varies with time, and body is said to be in a unsteady or transient state. And body is said to be in a unsteady or transient state. Body is said to be in an unsteady or transient state. Full stop. Next line, write down. The term unsteady, the term unsteady, the term unsteady, the term unsteady or transient transient, the term unsteady or transient designates designates a phenomenon designates a phenomenon designates a phenomenon which is time dependent which is time dependent which is time dependent which is time dependent. Full stop. Next line. So the steady state is thus the limit of so the steady state is thus the limit of so the steady state is thus the limit of transient temperature distribution is thus the limit of transient temperature distribution transient temperature distribution. Next line, write down. Conduction of heat conduction of heat conduction of heat in unsteady condition conduction of heat in condition unsteady state conduction of heat in unsteady state conduction of heat in unsteady state refers to refers to refers to the transient conditions refers to the transient condition wherein the heat flow wherein the heat flow and the temperature distribution and the temperature distribution at any point at any point of the system at any point of the system vary continuously vary continuously with time. Okay, next write down. Transient conditions occurs transient conditions occurs where it occurs. There are some examples I have provided. Transient conditions occurs. First one, cooling of IC engine. Cooling of IC engine. First one, cooling of IC engine. Second one, automobile engine. Automobile engine. Automobile engine. Third one, cooling and freezing of food. Cooling and freezing of food. Cooling and freezing of food. Next one, heat treatment of metals by quenching. 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 Next, write down the temperature field in any transient problems. The temperature field in any transient problems. The temperature field in any transient problems is given by T is equal to, or T is a function of, x, y, z. Temperature is a function of x, y, z coordinates, and also time small t, x, x comma y comma z comma t. Okay, whether you want to write this particular example, so you can write in a sentence format. Next line, consider a fruit watermelon. Consider a fruit watermelon. Consider a fruit watermelon. Keep it in a refrigerator. Okay, no need to draw. Okay, picture diagram. Consider fruit watermelon. Keep it in refrigerator. Keep it in refrigerator. Just write down consider fruit watermelon and keep it in a refrigerator. After half an hour, take it outside. After half an hour, take it outside and cut it and cut it and cut it. And after cutting, check the temperature of watermelon. And after cutting, check the temperature of watermelon. Check the temperature of watermelon. Full stop. We get different temperature. We get different temperature at different positions. We get different temperature at different positions. We get different temperatures at different position. Full stop. We get different temperatures at different positions. Full stop. We get less temperature. We get less temperature at the surface. We get less temperature at the surface or near to surface of watermelon. We get less temperature at the surface or near to surface of watermelon as compared to temperature at center. As compared to temperature at center. As compared to temperature at center. That means watermelon loses heat. Watermelon loses or loses heat in a refrigerator non-uniformly. In a refrigerator non-uniformly. That means watermelon loses heat in a refrigerator non-uniformly. Full stop. Why? Why? Because heat at surface side loss immediately and heat at the center get more resistance to lose. Get more resistance to lose. Get more resistance to lose. Okay, full stop. Next line, write down. In that refrigerator, in that refrigerator, we kept one pot. In that refrigerator, we kept one pot with filled by water. In that refrigerator, we kept one pot with filled water. Full stop. After half an hour, after half an hour, we check the temperature of water. After half an hour, we check the temperature of water, and we get the same temperature at different locations. And we get the same temperature at the different location. And we get the same temperature at different location. Then we can say that then we can say that water loses heat uniformly. Then we can say that water loses heat uniformly. Water loses heat uniformly. Okay, full stop. Next line, write down. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that every material is having some thermal conductivity. Everyone knows that every material is having some thermal conductivity. Some thermal conductivity. And if material is having thermal conductivity, and if material is having thermal conductivity, and if material is having thermal conductivity, then it also having thermal resistance. Then it also having thermal resistance for heat transfer. Then it also having thermal resistance for heat transfer. Okay, full stop. Next line, write down. There are two parts in unsteady state heat transfer. There are two parts in unsteady state heat transfer. First one is lumped heat transfer. First one is lumped heat transfer. Second one is unlumped heat transfer. Second one is unlumped heat transfer. Unlumped heat transfer. Okay, write down the heading lumped parameter analysis. Write down the heading lumped parameter analysis. Lumped parameter analysis. Okay, draw the simple diagram. Show the plate. Okay, dotted line shows that there is environment on that side of a wall, or there is a ambient air present over that particular side, over that particular side, or the fluid is present over that side. Okay, surface area of plate is A, thickness of plate is L, and H naught is heat transfer coefficient of surface of plate to the surrounding medium. Everyone drawn? Now consider thin plate. Consider thin plate whose thickness is L, whose thickness is capital L, and surface area capital A, and surface area capital A, with very high thermal conductivity K. With very high thermal conductivity K. With very high thermal conductivity K. Then conduction resistance for heat transfer is equal to conduction resistance for heat transfer is equal to L divided by K multiplied by A. Thickness divided by thermal conductivity multiplied by perpendicular surface area for the heat transfer. L divided by K multiplied by A. Conductive resistance is equal to L divided by K multiplied by A. Okay. And convective resistance is equal to convective resistance on the surface of plate. Convective resistance on the surface of plate. Convective resistance is equal to 1 divided by H naught multiplied by A. 1 divided by H naught multiplied by A. H naught is the convective heat transfer coefficient. A is the surface area available for the heat transfer. Then in this case, we'll get conductive resistance very small as compared to the convective resistance. Conductive resistance very small as compared to convective resistance. That is nothing but what? L divided by K multiplied by A is very less as compared to 1 divided by H naught multiplied by A. One divided by H naught multiplied by A. H naught multiplied by A. Okay. So we can neglect internal resistance. So we can neglect internal resistance. So we can neglect internal resistance means conductive resistance, and which is equal to L divided by K multiplied by A. So we can neglect internal resistance. Full stop. Next slide, write down. All solids have finite thermal conductivity. All solids have finite thermal conductivity. All solids have finite thermal conductivity, and there will be always a temperature gradient, and there will be always a temperature gradient, and there will be always a temperature gradient inside the solid, and there will be always a temperature gradient inside the solid, whenever heat is added, whenever heat is added or removed, whenever heat is added or removed, whenever heat is added or removed. Full stop. Next line, write down. However, comma, for solids, however, comma, for solids of large K, for solids of large K with surface areas that are large, with surface areas that are large in proportion to their volume, in proportion to their volume, like plate, like plate, like plate, and thin metallic wires, and thin metallic wires, and thin metallic wires, the internal resistance, the internal resistance, the internal resistance in bracket L divided by K multiplied by A, the internal resistance in bracket L divided by K multiplied by A can be assumed to be small, can be assumed to be small or negligible, can be assumed to be small or negligible in comparison with convective resistance, in comparison with convective resistance, in comparison with convective resistance, in bracket 1 divided by h multiplied by a, in bracket 1 divided by h multiplied by a. Example: heat treatment of metals, heat treatment of metals. Second one, time response of thermocouples and thermometer, time response of thermocouples and thermometer, time response of thermocouples and thermometer. Full stop. Next line, write down. The process in which internal resistance assumed negligible, the process in which internal resistance assumed negligible in comparison with the process in which internal resistance assumed negligible in comparison with its its surface resistance, in comparison with its surface resistance, in comparison with its surface resistance is called as the Newtonian heating or cooling process. It's called as the Newtonian heating or cooling process. The Newtonian heating or cooling process. It's called as the Newtonian heating or cooling process. Full stop. The temperature in this process, the temperature in this process, the temperature in this process is considered to be the temperature in this process is considered to be uniform at a given time. The temperature in this process is considered to be uniform at a given time. At a given time. Full stop. This analysis is called lumped parameter analysis. This analysis is called lumped parameter analysis because the whole solid whose energy the whole solid whose energy at any time at any time at any time at any time is a function of its temperature at any time is a function of its temperature at any time is a function of its temperature, and total heat capacity is treated as one lump, and total heat capacity is treated as one lump. Okay, so in the next lecture we'll discuss the derivation on this particular part. Okay, and further the problem on this particular part. Okay, so we'll stop here. Is there any question, any doubt you can ask now? Is there any question, any doubt? Whether you understood what is meant by lumped parameter analysis? Please comment in the chat box whether you understood or not. Or should I repeat? Is there any doubt? If you don't have any doubt, then you can comment your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave this particular meeting.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, yesterday's problem answer of Q1 and Q2, sir. Can you tell?
Okay, okay. So yesterday's problem.
Yes, sir. Q1 and Q2.
Okay, okay. This problem, right, right. So have you get this answer?
Yes, sir.
Q1 x when x is equal to 0, what is how much it is?
No, sir. I have calculated only T, sir.
Only t. Okay.
203.43.
T value. What is my value? I will check 1 minute. Uh, 203.44.
Yes, sir. Then Q1
T.
and Q2 only I want to check.
Okay. So Q1 we want to determine when x is equal to 0. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. This is the
Ah,
formula minus k multiplied by a multiplied by dt divided by dx. Okay. This is our Fourier's law. Now
yes, sir.
we want this dt divided by dx. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now our one surface is maintained or located at x is equal to 0 and other
Yes.
surface is at x is equal to L. Okay. Whatever the thickness of that particular wall is there. So end point will be at end location. Okay. So another equation will be when x is equal to L or is equal to 0.025. Okay. Now dt divided by dx we have to determine. Here we have determined dt divided by dx initially.
Yes, sir.
5412.5 minus 6,25,000. Okay. Multiply by x is equal to 0. So this equation just put up instead of dt divided by dx.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And put
Uh-huh.
up x is equal to 0 in that equation.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you will
Yes,
get
yes.
the answer. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you will get the answer in heat transfer rate per unit area.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because
Uh-huh.
area is unknown, you can transfer this area on this side. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Be q1 divided by area, and you will get answer as minus 25 2,59,800.
Yes, sir.
Right? Watt
Huh.
per meter square.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
if you put x is equal to 0.025 in a same
Yes, sir.
in a same equation, if you put x is equal to 0.025, so then you will get q2. Okay. So it is equal to 4,90,000. How much?
4,90,200.
Right. 4,90,200 watt per meter square.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So
Thank you, sir.
if you want to cross check that thing, whatever the heat generation किती होते? हीट जनरेशन किती होते आपली? टोटल हीट जनरेशन किती दिली आहे प्रॉब्लेम मध्ये? 30 × 10⁻⁶ दिलेली आहे.
Yes, sir.
तर ह्या दोघांची ऍडिशन करायची. आता ह्यांची व्हॅल्यू ऍडिशन करायची, मायनस साइन कन्सिडर करायची नाही. या दोघांची ऍडिशन केली, किती आली? आय थिंक दोघांची ऍडिशन करून बघ बरं. 7,50,000 येते बहुतेक.
सर. येस, सर. येते
7,50,000.
7,50,000 बरोबर.
ती आपली कशामध्ये आली? वॅट पर मीटर स्क्वेअर मध्ये आली.
हा हा
ही कशात आहे वॅट पर मीटर स्क्वेअर मध्ये,
स्क्वेअर मध्ये
आणि हीट जनरेशन आपलं कशात आहे वॅट पर मीटर क्यूब
क्यूब.
मध्ये.
हा बरोबर. हा
बरोबर आहे. तर
हा
ते जे हीट जनरेशन आहे 30 × 10⁶,
हा.
त्याला थिकनेसनं डिवाइड कर.
थिकनेस न
हा, थिकनेसनं डिवाइड कर.
0.025.
0.025. नाही नाही, मल्टिप्लाय कर.
एक मिनिट.
वॅट पर मीटर क्यूब आहे ना, त्याला वॅट पर मीटर स्क्वेअर मध्ये कन्वर्ट करायचं आहे.
हा सर केलं.
हा, किती येते? 7,50,000 येते का?
नाही सर, 7,50,000 येत नाही सर.
किती येते?
1,87,500 येते सर.
किती?
1,87,500.
30 × 10⁶ मल्टिप्लाय बाय 0.025.
असं आहे काय? हा हा, मग येणार सर.
30 गुणुले 10⁻⁴ हीट जनरेशन किती दिले स्टेटमेंट मध्ये?
हा, 30 × 10⁶.
राईट ना. त्याला
हा
आपण थिकनेसनं मल्टिप्लाय केलं, ती हीट जनरेशन वॅट पर मीटर क्यूब मध्ये आहे. आपण
हा
टॅली करतो, जेवढी हीट जनरेट झाली आहे तेवढी सरफेसला पोहोचली आहे का नाही.
हा हा
ओके. जर हे टॅली झालं, कारण की आपलं ॲझम्पशनच ते आहे, जेवढी जनरेट होते तेवढी सरफेसला जाते.
सरफेसला. हा बरोबर.
ठीक आहे. मग आता इथं आपण आपला आन्सर बरोबर आहे का नाही हे चेक करण्यासाठी आपण Q1 आणि Q2 ची ऍडिशन केली, ती आपली 7,50,000 आली.
हा
आपली
हा.
जनरेशन वॅट पर मीटर क्यूब मध्ये आहे, त्याला वॅट पर मीटर स्क्वेअर मध्ये करायचं असेल तर
तर मग
मल्टिप्लाय करावं लागेल त्याला.
हा हा
राईट. आता ती
हा
किती येते चेक कर. 30 × 10⁶ मल्टिप्लाय बाय
0.0.
0.25.
हा सर, 7,50,000 येते. बरोबर.
राईट, म्हणजे आपलं टॅली झालेलं आहे आन्सर
हा
बरोबर असं.
हा, कळलं सर. हा, थँक्यू सर.
येस. ओके. सो विल स्टॉप. ओके.